exercise in the Horse Magazine's exercise series. So this is exercise number 6, and this month we're looking at shoulder mobility. Last month we looked at shoulder stability, so keeping a nice stable shoulder girdle while we're on the horse. And now we want the shoulder joint to be nice and mobile, so we can have a nice soft giving hand to the horse. So your soft hand doesn't start in the hand, starts up here. So we don't want to be leaning on the horse's mouth, we want to be carrying ourselves so it can be nice soft hand, so for a nice elastic contact. So what we're going to do first is an exercise called dumbwaiter. Get that prop. I'm going to use here what we call a TheraBand. It's just the elastic band. You could also use some small weights or nothing at all. And you can also do this exercise standing if you don't want to sit on a ball. I just like the feeling of the sitting on the ball. So, like all the exercises, we're going to think about our alignment and our breathing and our core first off. So sitting on the ball, I want the feet hip joint width apart, as are the knees. I also want you to have your legs fairly close to horizontal. You don't want to be too much up or too much down. The other thing you want is a nice neutral spine, working your way up the body. So nice, soft, you go back, the natural curve, so you go out in the sacrum, in the lumbar, out in the thoracic, in the cervical. Chest is wide, shoulders are relaxed. And you want to make sure you've got equal weight on both seat bones as you're doing this. Right. So we've got our alignment. We're going to breathe in, engage the core, so you're sinking those lower abs in and gently lifting up the pelvic floor. You want to keep the length through the waist, but no tension through the shoulders. We already know how to keep our shoulders nice and stable and drawn gently down our back, I hope. So now we're going to look at just getting some mobility through what we call the rotator cuff. And this is all the exercise is. So you're coming down to here, and at the end there, I'm just getting some tension through the strap and back in. I'm making sure my elbows are staying at my side. I don't want to be doing this because that's too much arm pressure. I just want the feeling that I can do something with my hands while all my shoulders stay nice and stable. The other thing you can do is take the hands forward and back. So you can pretend you're carrying a tray forward and back. So you're taking it forward and you're resisting back. Equal weight on both seat bones. Continuously do a body scan to see where you are. Make sure the shoulders stay relaxed down. I want to see a nice long neck. Out and in. And you keep lifting your rib cage up off your pelvis. You don't want to be sitting like that. Keeping the length through the spine. Keeping the sternum lifted but not poking. Taking it out and in. And then you can combine them. And back. Out and in. As you do the dumbwaiter, make sure you're not doing this as well. You want the arms to be working independently of the body. So you've got to keep that chest wide. This also encourages you to keep the pecs, the front muscles here, fairly relaxed. So the stabilization comes from the back of the body rather than bracing through the front. You see that's quite a common thing as well. Keep it relaxed down. Allow things to happen. Back in, out and forward. So another exercise we can use to get the feeling of independent hands and the feeling of carrying your hands rather than leaning on the horse's mouth is get yourself a couple of whips, or you can use a broom or anything stable. So I'll show you, I'm going to sit on the side so you can see better what's going on. I'm going to hold 2 whips and I'm going to hold them like reins just because. They're dressage whips, so they're nice and long. Unfortunately, they're not matching, but there you go. You can also use a broom and hold it still. But this, I think, gives you a better feeling of where your hand should be on the horse. And all you're going to do is bounce on the ball, keeping your hand still, and you get the feeling of what's required through the joints in the arm to have a soft hand. So your hands aren't still relative to you, they're still relative to the horse. Okay? That just gives you a feeling of what's, a nice soft elbow, a nice giving shoulder. Not too much. So if you can even bring your hands a little closer to the upper arm to the perpendicular position. Or if you're giving, you'd be giving forward a little bit, but not forward and back. You don't want to be pulling the horse in the mouth every stride. Breathe forward, 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 and just keep the arms there. Keep you entertained for hours. So you can find those exercises in the November issue of the Horse Magazine, and you'll also find a more detailed explanation of them, what can go wrong, and some imagery that may help you. So until next month, look after yourself and be nice to your horse.